Hello and welcome to the Connecting Community podcast. My name is Caitlin and I'm the Communications Coordinator for Mass Hire Metro North Workforce Board. Our organization is dedicated to developing partnerships, generating resources, and advocating for workforce solutions that result in a skilled workforce, prospering businesses, and access to meaningful career pathways for local residents. On this show, we share workforce development stories by speaking with members of our communities who believe in the power of quality employment. If you are listening to this episode on the day of its release, it is National Apprenticeship Day. To celebrate, we are sitting down with our staff members from the Northeast Advanced Manufacturing Consortium, or NAMC for short. Welcome, Teddy, Michaela, Alex, Pradeep, and Chuck. Thank you for joining us. To give a little background, NAMC works to develop the regional workforce pipeline by training job seekers and incumbent workers in the skills valued by advanced manufacturers in northeastern Massachusetts. NAMC started as an initiative among 4 workforce investment board directors to form a partnership among industry, academia, and workforce development established to promote sustained support for manufacturing within the northeast of Massachusetts. So to kick off this group interview, I thought I could have each of you go around and share your name, title, and a little bit about your role and responsibilities.
Teddy Markham, and I'm the Senior Director of the Northeast Advanced Manufacturing Consortium, as we call it, NAMC. My role within the organization is to work with the NAMC team on workforce development initiatives, training programs, youth initiatives, apprenticeship programs. And I can't say enough about working with this team. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Preeti Patel. I am a program manager overseeing the training programs and also assisting with the apprenticeship programs with NAMC.
Hi, my name is Chuck Coakley. I am the Apprenticeship Growth and Expansion Coordinator for NAMC. I've been here for about 3.5 years, and I really enjoy this job. Thank you.
My name is Alex Kane. I am a career advisor with NAMC. I am part of the pilot program that is introducing high school students to career pathways within advanced manufacturing and skilled trades.
Hey everyone, my name is Michaela Konopka. I'm also a career advisor for our youth initiatives along with Alex. Great to be here.
Thank you, everybody. I know I already gave a brief background on NAMC, but I'd love to turn it over to Teddy, the true expert, to give a little bit of history and overview on NAMC.
Well, thank you, Caitlin. I'm not sure I'm the expert, but I've probably been in NAMC the longest at this point, but very fortunate to be there. As you said, NAMC was established in 2012 by the 4 workforce boards, affiliated career centers to those workforce boards, a number of governmental agencies, training providers that included community colleges, technical high schools, private trainers. We also have well over 200 manufacturers in the Northeast alone. Our first true customer came in 2016, and that started with an apprenticeship program, not a traditional apprenticeship program, a non-traditional program that's comprised of a 1-year program that NAMC developed with the Division of Apprenticeship Standards at the state of Massachusetts. Since 2016, and as we've grown to 2025, NAMC's gone through changes, as all organizations have, and we continue to evolve to meet the needs of not only the Northeast manufacturers, but the state manufacturers. So we've grown from the Northeast and spread our wings, so to speak, all across Massachusetts to come up with solutions, especially training solutions for our manufacturing employers that have a base of incumbent workers that require higher skilled training. And in being able to meet this need, we've worked with a number of training partners to provide the proper training programs for these employers. As we move forward, we've also been very fortunate to be awarded some youth youth pilot program funding. So now we're actually kind of going full circle when we talk about NAMC being now able to get into high schools and to really research and explore with the young adults manufacturing opportunities, training opportunities, and many forms of training in that sense. So we're not the same consortium that we were in 2012 or 2016. We can't be. We need to be able to pivot as our employers pivot, as our organizations, our partners pivot as time goes on. So that's just a brief outline. I could sit here and talk about this for hours, but I think that I would probably bore everybody. So I'm gonna pass it along to Priti Patel.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. I'd love, Priti, if you could just touch on what some of the free training opportunities look like at NAMC.
So as a program manager overseeing the training program, we have a lot of opportunities to get folks engaged, and we're reaching out to folks who are either underemployed or unemployed, who are looking to get back into the market segment and also explore the career of manufacturing. We partner with a lot of local providers, training program providers, such as CMT, which is Center for Manufacturing Technology. We have LAIR. We partner with Greater Lawrence Tech, Shawsheen, Middlesex Community College, and then I think Whittier is one of the last ones that we partnered with as well. And we offer a variety of training programs, so everything from CNC machining, quality control, electromechanical assembly, to welding. So it depends on when our partners have availability to offer the courses, but they're offered throughout the year. They're roughly around 300 hours, some maybe 150 hours. And we try and give a variety to the schedule so that we can help meet the needs of more constituents who are looking for an opportunity to get free training. But it's definitely available. We're very supportive of folks who want to go into the training program by giving them, career center help, working with the partners in resume writing, getting them job placement opportunities, getting them opportunities to engage with local companies by having the companies come on site and speak with their students, or actually giving them an opportunity to go visit their facilities so they can take a tour of the manufacturing plant. But yeah, there's plenty out there. So anyone who's interested, I would love to have you reach out to me or even to anyone in NAMC, and we'll help explore some of those careers out there for you.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. And so since today we're kind of celebrating National Apprenticeship Day, I'm wondering if, Chuck, you could speak a little bit about what the apprenticeship program looks like at NAMC, and how does NAMC collaborate with other local organizations, businesses, and schools to advance manufacturing and give career seekers quality opportunities in our region?
Thank you, Caitlin. I will do my best to give you my perspective of how we operate. It all starts with getting your foot in the door at a particular customer. When I talk to a customer and they start to go through this, like, why are you here, and what are you offering, and that type of thing. I just ask them a couple of basic questions. I said, what's the most difficult process you have to deal with in keeping people employed or finding new people, or what exactly are the things you'd love some help with? And they say, well, you just can't find good help these days. And it sounds like something my father would have said. And it's interesting because I'll just respond casually that have you talked to people that work in jobs that are fairly entry level in your business? Have you talked to people on the loading dock? Have you talked to people that are doing clerical work in the office or some sort of janitorial service? Those jobs are all very important, and they're all key to the success for a company. But at the same time, how much satisfaction does someone get out of a job like that after they've been doing it for 10 or 12 years or whatever? Has anybody ever asked them if they had aspirations to to move up in the company and do something different. And they say, well, no, we look for people that have a specific skill. I said, but if you can't find those specific skills, who better than to help people in a succession plan effort to grow and learn and develop from a lesser paying job to a higher paying job on the machine shop floor. And once they get there, they can develop that occupation through training and so on and so forth. All right, I have one company in Walpole, Massachusetts, landlocked Walpole, Massachusetts, just down the street from Patriot Stadium. And I am on, I'm on the fourth set of apprenticeships for two particular people. They started as CNC machine operators in 22. They completed that 1-year program. They went to a CNC programmer in 2023. And right now they're in a group leader program in 2025. And in 2022, they went with Tooling U to do they went with Minuteman Tech to do their CNC machine work out in Lexington. In 2023, they went with Tooling U, an online training program. And in 2025, they went with Mount Wachusett Community College, and they're in an excellent group leader program, training them to be effective managers. They have another apprentice they hired, and he started his CNC machine work. And oddly enough, he started with Tooling U, and then he went down to Danville, Virginia, National U.S. Navy Manufacturing School, where he spent 4 months. He came back, he successfully completed that program, and now he's in to what the U.S. Department of Labor changed from the CNC programmer to a computer numerically controlled machine operator, which is a 2-year program. But the name of the game is to make sure the company benefits. And the most satisfaction I get out of this is when I see an employee grow on the job to make more money for their family, develop their self-confidence, and feel like they're making more of a contribution.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think like the real examples like that make it easier to understand kind of the impact that these apprenticeships have on people.
Chuck and I were talking today about different customers, and I said, it's not easy. There's a lot of appointments, a lot of touches that you make with an employer and a training provider to do this. And I said to Chuck, sometimes, when we're doing this, yes, our employers, our companies, they see the value, but they haven't felt the value yet. And in this case, with this company, they feel the value because they come back to us consecutively to upskill. There's a career pathway, upskill those individuals in a number of different ways. So when you finally, get them on your fishing rod, your hook there, that's when they're going to really feel it and not just say, oh yes, I see the value. They are experiencing it now. So.
Yeah. And going off of that, how has the landscape of manufacturing changed in our region over the past 5 to 10 years?
When I first got here, we had adult programs in technical schools technical high schools that we utilized. We had Minuteman, and they had a very good instructor. They had a nice program out there. And Rolls-Royce thought they did a good job. And when I couldn't get them to do the technical training that I wanted for their other customers, my other customers, I had to explore online training, and I didn't know much about it. And I found out that these companies that do online training do an excellent job. Excellent job. I've done I've completed 2 HR generalist apprenticeships, which were both 1-year programs, one out in the middle part of Massachusetts with a company that's a manufacturer, and another one in another company out maybe closer to Worcester. And I found that, some people like the 365 days a year, 24/7 access of an online training program, and other people don't. the midlife people like the 365 24/7 because they can do the work when they want to. The younger folks have families, young children, and by the time 10 o'clock rolls around and they get a chance to look at this stuff, they're exhausted after putting the kids to bed and helping them with homework and all that stuff. So what you have to try to find is a nice mix. Long story short, the Tooling U program is growing. AI is having a very positive influence on them. Right now, Tooling U has, and I'm only using Tooling U because I can speak from experience. There are other online programs that are equally as good. But Tooling U is utilizing AI to develop multi-language approaches to their training program. And the biggest problem they are finding, and the most time-consuming problem they are finding, is that once they get the AI interpretation of all of the different languages they added, they have to verify that it's actually correct in each of those dialects. So, you know, it's a whole educational environment that's opening up for the United States and probably the rest of the world. That means that AI is going to have a big influence on it, which is a good thing. And they also have, you know, some courses that they're introducing 3D and 4D on with those fancy headsets that look like people are from outer space. And they can see stuff like real time. And they have a simulated fire in a factory that they have them use for a couple of OSHA classes. And it is terrifying, they say, once you're on that thing for 10 minutes, because you start to feel like you're actually in a smoke-filled building. So these are the changes that we're seeing, that I'm seeing. The quality of education is becoming better. The technology is improving the way people can learn, stay interested and active. And the technical high schools that we relied on are available, but not as readily as they used to be. So we have to find the best way we can to get these people trained. And sometimes it's in a situation that we wouldn't even recognize 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, if I can piggyback on that, I'd also say that COVID-19 changed our landscape drastically, and that is actually part of the reason why we explored opportunities with online programs, because we had to pivot to virtual training. And you know, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do manufacturing training, you know, virtually, especially back when we were in COVID-19. So we had to pivot, our training providers had to pivot, our employers had to pivot. It was really somewhat catastrophic, I think, for all of us, professionally and personally. One thing I do want to bring up when Chuck was talking about the apprenticeships of the HR generalists. Now, these are human resource generalist apprenticeship programs in a manufacturing company. That alone shows the career path of somebody that's working within a manufacturing company, wanting to upskill into a higher level position and move in the human resources department. So when we talk about manufacturing as well, we're talking about the HR generalists. We're talking about quality control. There's inventory. There's so many areas that you can go in. Even when you're starting on the floor, you're a CNC machinist. Who better to become a sales rep than a CNC machinist who's actually done it, knows what goes into building, and then can go out and talk to prospective companies for purchasing of equipment. It doesn't get much better than that, Caitlin.
Caitlin, one last comment I'd like to make before you move on.
Yeah.
At one of my companies, they encouraged and had a person that has an engineering degree take a CNC machine operator training program at a local technical high school in Marlboro, Assabet Valley. And I've worked with Assabet Valley before. They do a great job. And the reason they wanted this engineer to do that is so that this person could learn what the machinists had to deal with in making the product and maybe share some of his engineering knowledge to help them as well as help other facets of that company as they start to develop new products and marketing opportunities and that type of thing. So it's not just the traditional machinist that's doing this training anymore. It's people that have advanced degrees that are looking for a way to distinguish themselves and make themselves more marketable, and companies that are looking to develop their people to their maximum.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for adding that on. I'd love to hear from Alex and Michaela, our career advisors. Have you guys witnessed any memorable success stories of people who have gone through NAMC programs, and what made their stories so impactful?
So thank you, Caitlin. The interesting thing, Michaela and I are part of a pilot program. So, data is still in the early stages, and, trying to hone in on those success stories. We're still gathering them. However, we're already seeing very, very positive results in what we're doing. What we do from our perspective is, we're trying to create avenues of success for our students, and to create avenues and pathways where they can get into advanced manufacturing. And what we're seeing is collectively, we're seeing very positive results. We're seeing an increase in student engagement with our partner schools that we're working on and working with, What the great thing is we're seeing students who are saying, something, maybe college is not for me, or maybe I want to look at other pathways beyond college. And how can I kickstart a career right out of school that's going to put me in a hands-on position? In the current generation of high school students, they're very savvy. They're very, very savvy. And they're looking for best options for them. They're looking, what's the best for me in this situation? And they want something of value. And that's where I think NAMC comes in, where we can provide pathways of value to students, where we can provide them with training providers or training sites that has either minimal or no debt education, and we also provide pathways for opportunity to growth. The great thing about north of Boston is there are so many manufacturing facilities, whether it's in Somerville, or whether it's in Andover, whether it's in Lawrence, or whether it's in Revere. We've got a lot of training partners that can help these students grow and succeed. The other thing we're seeing with the students, which I'm very excited about, is they want to do some, when they talk about value, a lot of students give us feedback that they want to make things. They want to produce things that last a while, that show the value of their work, show the value of their talents. And we're helping students do that, whether it's electromechanical assembly, whether it's welding or CNC machining. The common theme, particularly amongst female students, is we want to get in there. We want to use our hands. We want to make something that is, lasts longer than 30 seconds. The great thing is also not just the students, but our schools are starting to show and build meaningful partnerships and relationships with them as well. Many of our schools are starting to incorporate our manufacturing workshops into their curriculum. And some of the schools we're working with as well have indicated that they are trying to build out strategic plans that incorporate NAMC's objectives into those goals. The other two things which I really like, our training partners are absolutely fantastic. They are absolutely dedicated to ensuring our students succeed, because that is our ultimate goal. We want students to be successful. And these training partners are individuals, whether, again, it's electromechanical assembly, whether it's welding, whether it's CNC machining. They want to see the students succeed, and they want to see them land in a job which is going to take them down a career of success and growth in their lifetime. And the final thing is, which Chuck had touched upon, and I'll follow up on, is we have a wonderful partnership with an ed tech company where we're able to bring virtual reality into the classrooms. We bring manufacturing simulations and skilled trade simulations, which allows students to actually engage in skilled trades and manufacturing career exploration, which normally is kind of difficult to do in the real world. You can't have a student do an internship because of safety or OSHA regulations, they can't get on the floor. There's also various, depending upon the manufacturing, there's restrictions on who can or cannot come into the facility. So these EdTech virtual reality headsets allow our students to take real-time, realistic, highly realistic simulations that allow them to complete various tasks and allow them to explore if it's a career that they truly enjoy.
Yeah. And you mentioned this at the beginning too, but like you said, college isn't always the right move for some high school students, and they might need a little bit of time before they can make that commitment financially or just
Right.
based on
And the one,
what they're
and the
interested
one,
in.
absolutely, Caitlin. And the wonderful thing we like about a lot of our manufacturing partners, they want to see their employees grow, not just simply on the floor, but within the company. And a lot of the benefits that these organizations offer include, hey, we'll pay for your college. You know, if you give us something on the line floor, we'll gladly pay for your college. And again, it goes back to that student savviness. You know, the last thing, and you know, the team has always heard me say this, I just don't want a student to go into debt simply for debt. I want a student who is going to look at a career opportunity which says, who's going to pay for my college, who's going to pay for my training, and how can I grow? And the pathway is absolutely fantastic. And as Teddy touched upon, you could have somebody who's starting on the line. Within 6 years, they could be in sales, and within 10 years, they could be a design engineer. There's a lot of opportunities, and these companies want these students so that they can provide these pathways for them.
In preparation of this interview, I was looking at some of our data on, what the industry is looking like. And according to a 2023 report with data from Lightcast and EconoView, advanced manufacturing jobs have salaries ranging from as low as $32,264 to as high as $213,067 for different roles in our region. And demand for most of these jobs is expected to increase by 2028. So what do you think the future of manufacturing looks like in a growing field? What types of skills do you see being most in demand for the future of manufacturing? And how is NAMC addressing this need? Now it's kind of a long question, but
yeah. No, that's a great question, Caitlin. With our pilot program specifically, and when we've been working with different manufacturing companies with our pilot program, we've noticed a lot of focus on the younger generations, which is why career exploration is so important for showing younger generations what manufacturing looks like, from being on the floor as a CNC machinist to being an engineer, or even more on the business side in HR. But we've definitely heard from a lot of the companies that we're working with that they're expecting a lot of individuals to retire. And so they're really looking to invest in the younger generations, which is great because we're really focused on those younger generations now and working with the high school students. It seems like there's a lot of interest among them as well. And then I guess going along with that, it's really important for the students to know what manufacturing is, like I mentioned, for them to have, whether it's through a VR simulation or whether it's through talking with employers, different companies, for them to have an idea of what that looks like and what skills are important. As we've been working with different employers, the skills that they've really mentioned and trainers is that, basic math, blueprint reading, general, I would say computer skills is important, but really the communication skills, the professionalism skills, showing up on time, and being hands-on and detail-oriented are really what I would say employers are looking for, and what we're trying to make sure that students understand, that no matter what job you work at, it's important to show up on time, but it's also important to be invested in your career and where you want to take it. And if that's manufacturing, then that's wonderful. If it's not, then they were able to explore that with our program, but that's sort of our focus with that. We're really realizing as we're working with the high school students, since our program's the newer program out of NAMC, that manufacturing is constantly evolving. And we're teaching students that it's so much broader of an industry than people realize, as we've already discussed today too. And we really think it's important, no matter if you're a high school student, no matter if you're a middle school student, or if you're an adult, you need information on the industry, because you never know the opportunity that's available to you unless you learn and you explore the options. So we're really hoping to provide with our program, high school students, avenues of opportunities, but in general, NAMC, promotes it to adults as well. So that's a little bit about what our program's focused on, but also the general.
Yeah, it's such a great resource, and those skills are so important to learn. I feel like at a young age too, even just the basics about getting there on time and being dedicated. So that's great.
Well, you know what, Caitlin, we talk about these skills, and a lot of them are transferable skills that everybody has. And the times that I've gone into some of the schools I haven't with Alex and Michaela, I'll hear students say, I don't have transferable skills. And I'll say, okay. I said, do you belong to a club? Well, yes, I do. So you're part of a team. Are you playing a sport? You're part of a team. Do you have to be there on time? Are you participating? So time management, they have transferable skills, but as we all say, you don't know what you don't know until you know it, right? And you've got to figure that out. And Alex and Michaela do a great job of working with the kids to flush all this out. It's and as Michaela said, if you explore manufacturing and it's not your thing, well, you check it off the list. At least you've been exposed. You've done a tour at an employer. An employer has come in and spoken to the class. These things are critical. We see this as critical for our adults in our adult training programs. They go on tours. We have employers going to speak to our adults that are in our training programs. So it's a full circle, I think, or a full cycle of being able to work basically with many communities that have many requirements and needs, and being able to provide them with a sustainable opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. And going off that, Teddy, I realized I skipped one of your questions, but what do the barriers to entering advanced manufacturing look like? And how is NAMC kind of helping people overcome those barriers?
Well, there's a number of barriers, and I think that we continue to work on barriers because new barriers come up. But some of the barriers I think that we've encountered, and guys, chime in here. Chime in, please. I think some of them that manufacturing was a poor career choice. It was a poor career choice for possibly those not wanting to continue their education in a foreign. Well, it's not. Reality states it's not a poor career choice, because when you get hired in an entry-level position, you are getting a financial package as well as a benefits package. And at that point, you now have the ability to explore opportunities within that organization and see exactly where you want to go. So you're getting benefits, you're getting paid vacation, paid sick time. There are investment plans you can take advantage of, healthcare plans you can take advantage of, and a decent hourly rate. And really, it's in your hands at that point. We say to the young adults and older adults, you can do anything you want if you really want to do it. You can do it and you can make a living out of it. I would say another myth is that it's dark, dirty, and dangerous. The 3 Ds, right? Dark, dirty, and dangerous. When in fact, yes, there are a few shops, I would say, given the precision and the customization that they do, can be probably a little darker and a little dirtier. But for the majority, it's modern technology is being used within these organizations. It's being used everywhere, and the incumbent workers are getting the benefits of working at a clean site, a safe site. They're just learning. They're able to perform in those types of environment. Being in the manufacturing field means you need to have critical thinking. You need to be innovative. You need to be able to work on a team, and you need to be able to pivot when we have to pivot. And our employers in Massachusetts certainly know how to do that. And there are career pathways for all of these jobs within manufacturing. So those are just some of the myths about it. We find now that it's attracting anybody and everybody. People, as I forget if it was Alex or Michaela that said that they want to work with their hands. Well, that's not just one group of people. That's everybody. So, we're here, and as the team has said, we're here to, help support our programs, help support our customers, our job seekers in any way we can. Our training providers and our employers are also here to do the same thing.
I'd like to just piggyback on what Teddy just said. We recently had an experience where in the western part of Mass, one of our apprentices was laid off from his company because of rising material costs in steel. They are a medical manufacturing company, and they require, a lot of people that have skill sets and that kind of thing that work in machine shops and that type of thing. And this young kid was really a 6-year employee, and he had a lot of promise, and they were not happy that they had to let him go. But it's kind of a last in, first out type of process that most companies utilize, with seniority being the driver. And NAMC went out of their way, we went out of our way to encourage the young person to stick with his related technical instruction training that was required for his apprenticeship, even though he wouldn't be able to finish the apprenticeship in his current situation because he wouldn't be able to collect the 2,000 hours of required on-the-job training. However, he would be able to collect the 150 hours of related technical instruction and further demonstrate to a potential employer that, hey, this kid took a knock, right? We've all had those problems through our careers as we've developed and grown, layoffs, shift changes, and that type of thing. And this kid listened to us and stuck with the program at Mount Wachusett. And I bet you dollars to donuts that he's going to be able to pick up another job fairly quickly, because all he has to say is, I got laid off. They put me in a training program, and you know what? I decided I was going to finish the program, and here I am. I'm ready to work. And that's maturity. That's resilience. That's all those buzzwords that go with people that recognize they were dealt a tough hand and they have to deal with it. So, you have to get people to develop that type of skill set, and we are able to help people with that because we've seen these situations before and we have good advice for them.
I think, an additional, barrier or challenge that I've been seeing, at least on the high school level, is communication. And what I mean by that is many students don't realize that this pathway exists. It's out there. Or you'll see a student who will say, oh, I applied in 8th grade for a technical high school and I didn't get into the high school. So now I'm out of luck. With that really isn't the case. With NAMC particularly, a wonderful workshop that Michaela worked very hard on that we produced to the schools shows various training pathways that exist out there, whether it's free, low cost, medium cost, what they produce, what the type of training is, what apprenticeships exist. And when you see the students start realizing, wait a minute, that there's an opportunity for me here still, they really jump on it. So, that's one of the great things that I love about NAMC is that you're getting the word out there. I almost want to say preaching the gospel. We're going out there, spreading the word about these opportunities that say, hey, listen, if your passion is something other than college, and your passion, or even if it is college, if your passion is within advanced manufacturing, talk to us, because we will sit down and we will show you various pathways where you can succeed.
Yeah, it's so awesome. And I've seen that at the job fairs too. Like, students are really excited when they see that there are other opportunities for them. For my last question, I'd love to hear from each of you, what you find most rewarding about your role and the work you're doing.
I guess I'll start it off. I mean, the work itself is totally rewarding. The fact that we're able to, take programs and work with people in our communities, no matter what age group they are, and see them go from, stage 1 all the way to stage 5. And always outcomes are typically employment or advanced education and those things. So when you go to those graduations and you see your graduates, their families there, I can't tell you what it really does to you. When we work with apprenticeships and I see apprenticeships come through multiple times, companies, and they're really getting it, that's amazing as well. But for me, I'm going to tell you, it's working with this team. And we were talking, I was telling my colleagues this morning, I get up every morning and I get a smile on my face because I'm working with some of the brightest, most professional, innovative individuals that I've ever worked with. And I just can't say thank you enough. It's really, it's not, I don't take it for granted. I'm blessed, and I can't thank them enough for the work that they do.
So kind.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Let me just say that one of the things, there's many things that I'm grateful for and appreciate and so forth. But I work with a group of people that look to give back all the time. You know, you're talking about a 30-year career in some cases where you're opening the door for somebody that's going to be set for the rest of their life. And hopefully it's with the same company or a similar company. And they're able to provide for a family, pay for a house, put kids through a private school or high school or college or whatever it is. And it's all positive. You know, there's no negative. You know, it's not like, you know, everybody's saying, "Oh, I didn't get this done, I didn't get that done." It's never like that. It's well, I'm really excited. I have a meeting with this high school, that group of kids tomorrow, and you know, I've got some music I want to talk to them about because they talk about music all the time, and you know, they're just always looking for ways to communicate better with the kids, and it's wonderful. It's fun.
I can definitely say I got a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to follow what Teddy and Chuck said. I've been in career technical education for several years, and this is the best team I've ever worked with in my entire life. I mean, they're just awesome. I do consider myself very fortunate. I get an amazing partner in Michaela. You know, we constantly are brainstorming throughout the day. We are a pair. We are an awesome team, which is wonderful to see. The second thing, which on a personal note, you know, the fact where I'm going into schools, I mean, I'm a lifelong Merrimack Valley guy, and the fact that I get to go into the Merrimack Valley on a daily basis, it continue to, you know, to bring advanced manufacturing to these schools is you know, something I hold personally dear to me. But it all comes down, I'm going to jump upon what Chuck said. It comes down to what we are trying to do is change lives for the better. And the fact that we are able to do it and successfully gets me going in the morning. And this is a program that I deeply very passionate about. And I know we're going to do great things. And I know working with our students, they're going to rock it out there once we're finished with them.
Oh, I'll round things out. I do have to say this is such a wonderful team to work with such positive and engaging energy. And I think anyone that works with any of us and us as a team can see that, which is really amazing and wonderful because it can be difficult to find at times. I'm very appreciative of the work that we're able to do with the students. And I think, you know, with high school students, it's always really helpful, no matter what age you are, but especially in those formative years, to figure out, you know, what's available to me, what resources are available to me, what careers are available to me, you know, what could things look like for me as, you know, from now for the next 10 years, you know, when I decide to go on this career path or this career path. But I think it's also not only are we working with high school students, but adults and providing them with opportunities as well to really find a new career and a new path that's really wonderful and can provide them with a lot of different resources and a wonderful way of life. And I think it's really awesome that every day we can come and provide resources and opportunities to individuals. And I think that's really where the positive aspects of this job come for me, because I love to give back. I love to give information. I love to answer questions. I love to talk and engage with people. And I think seeing myself able to do that, but a team able to do that for many individuals across the board, whether they're high school students or adults, it's really rewarding. And I think it's great work that we do. So I'm excited.
Yeah, even just meeting with you and the NAMC team for a few times to prepare for this podcast, it's obvious how much you guys care genuinely about the work you're doing, and also how cohesive you are as a team and supportive of each other and energetic. So it's been a great process working with you guys. Thank you so much for participating and sharing all your insights. I'm glad that our audience will get to learn a little bit more about NAMC and the people that make it so great.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, Caitlin.